Hello everyone, the Shadow Picture here and you're watching All Things Nintendo. Today, I'll be creating my dream WarioWare game, WarioWare Retro Ramps. WarioWare has to be the Wario version of Mario Party. A party series where the main gameplay is that you can play miniature style games as a unique way to play these types of games. Out of these two series, I like Mario Party a little bit more due to the fact that WarioWare has this one massive problem since its first game. So basically, I'm making the best WarioWare game ever. To start, let's talk about the main story in the game. The story starts with an unidentified man robbing the Diamond City Bank, taking all of its money and assets that caused the economy to be corrupt. The news spreads like wildfire and has promotions as to whoever captures the unidentified man gets to have 1 million coins. Each character has their own story, so I'm going to start listing characters and explain their stories. There are 12 characters in this game where each character has their own microgame themes. Obviously, Wario is a character in this game. His story has him seeing a poster about the 1 million coin prize, causing him to go after the prize. His microgames are based on other Wario games or Wario aspects in Wario spin-off games. Mona's story has her hair salon being evicted due to the low economy, and the only way for her to keep it is to gamble. Her microgames are based on Nintendo games with a lead female protagonist, mainly Metro games. Jimmy T's story has him trying to go to a club, but gets rejected by a bouncer saying he's not groovy enough. His microgames are based on Nintendo rhythm games or games with rhythm aspects. Kat and Anna's story has both of them training their homemade ninja course until they knew that they didn't assemble it with the right wood and caused the course to break. So they went outside their yard to get more wood. Their microgames are based on Nintendo games with nature and survival aspects. Dribble and Spitz's story also has them looking at the 1 million coin prize, where they see a suspicious civilian to where they chase them down, only to find out that he wasn't the one who robbed the bank. Their microgames are based on adventure Nintendo games. 9Volt's story has him trying to sell his old Nintendo games because he broke his mother's new car window. Unfortunately, his games have no value until he saw a gaming tournament with a 500,000 coin prize that can cover both his mom's car and his wants. His microgames are based on first-party NES and Super Nintendo games. Penny's story has her in her school science fair trying to create a robot as her project, but a mean classmate starts to insult her and her robot. To prove that her robot will give her the win, Penny tries to connect the wires. Her microgames are based on Nintendo puzzle or educational games. Ashley's story has her trying to renovate her house with the stuff she bought until she realized that it was stolen by a resident who was not in her mansion. Until she realized that Red played a prank on her, which caused her to crash out. Her microgames are based on horror parts in Nintendo games. Young Cricket's story has him and Master Mantis trying to go to their dojo for them to train people for martial arts training, until they don't have the key because they realize that someone found their hiding spot. So they sneak into the mayor's house to get back the key. Their microgames are based on action Nintendo games. 18Volt's story has him and 13Amp playing on a Wii until they got bored with it and decided to change systems, with 18Volt wanting the Wii U while 13Amp wanting the Virtual Boy. They kept on arguing until they made a contest where whoever wins gets to choose another system to play. His microgames are based on Nintendo consoles and other accessories. Orbulon's story has him going to Diamond City trying to track down the thief who robbed the Diamond City Bank. However, no one has hope for him, so he decides to track the thief himself alongside Wario, Dribble, and Spitz, which caused the main characters to join. His microgames are based on Nintendo games that take place in space. And finally, we have a new character in the WarioWare series that should have been added since its debut, Waluigi. If the next WarioWare game has him, we can safely say that that will be the best game in the series. In his story, the plot twist is that he's disguised as a thief where he pretends to help the gang tracking his steps until Waluigi finds out that the whole gang knows it was him. His microgames are based on Nintendo sports games. After completing the microgames, Waluigi told them the plot twist that he was hired by Captain Syrup so she can run for mayor and fix the economy. Like the other WarioWare games, players select a stage where they play microgames with a time limit, and after completing a good chunk of microgames, it levels up faster until the boss, where it is the only microgame in the set to not have a time limit. Out of every story, Wario has 10 microgames, Waluigi has 20, and everyone else has 15, totaling out to 180 microgames. The player can play the whole game either with or without motion controls, therefore there are a total of 360 microgames in the story mode. For the first time in the series, all microgames are Nintendo themed in the story mode, due to the name Retro Ramps. There are returning microgames from past games, so I'm explaining my ideas for new microgames based on each character's theme stage. One idea of Wario's new microgames takes place in the Mario Party 2 minigame, Bomb Bomb Barrage, where Wario is in his own team of one. The objective is to not get a bomb on your platform until the timer runs out. A microgame idea from Mona takes place in Metroid Dread, where you have to avoid the EMMI before the time limit. This might be one of the reasons why this game is T-rated, because a handful of these microgames come from T-rated games. Jimmy T's microgames are based on Rhythm Nintendo games, so this microgame can be based on Rhythm Heaven Fever. The Double Date game is a great microgame to implement into this game and can make a great song. Cat and Anna's microgame idea I have is from Pikmin, and you use a good amount to attack an enemy so they can die before the timer runs out. One of Dribble and Spitz's new adventure-based microgame ideas I have is from Pokemon, where you walk in a field of grass trying to find a Pokemon before the time runs out. My idea for a 9-volt microgame should be based on Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo, where you control Yoshi to aim eggs at enemies just to complete it. However, you have one shot at shooting your egg, so you need to have a perfect aim. Penny's new microgame idea I have can be based on Box Boy, where the objective is to make boxes and progress throughout the section of the level within a short amount of time. Ashley's new microgame idea I have takes place in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, where you have to charge your Poltergeist 5000 and aim at a ghost if it's in the frame to let go of the charge, if that makes sense. The easiest new microgame idea I have for this game is from Young Cricket, where it takes place in arms. The idea is to punch your opponent while also trying to dodge their attacks against you. 18 volts new microgame idea I had is that you have to catch good consoles while avoiding the Virtual Boy due to how bad the system is. Another easy microgame idea I had for Orulon takes place in Star Fox Assault, where you have no control to move the R-Wing, but you need to aim at an enemy and have one shot at perfection. And to finish off, one of Waluigi's new microgames takes place in Mario Sports Mix, a 2v2 dodgeball where Wario and Waluigi are on a team, where Mario and Luigi are on the other. The main objective is to attack either one of the Mario Bros instead of getting hit at the same time. Let's talk about the extra modes. Some of these modes are from past WarioWare games, while others are made for this game. Variety Towers is a classic in the WarioWare series, where it's a mode where you play all the microgames continuously in a random order after completing the main story mode, where the boss microgames are in every 100 microgames. It uses every microgame in the game and it levels up every 20 to 40 microgames. The difficulties are all mixed up: super hard, pause, thrill ride, and boss rush. Wario Watch is another returning mode where you have to complete microgames in a 30-second time limit. To extend the game longer, after beating 5 microgames in a row without failing, the time increases to 10 seconds, but each microgame gets faster. Sleepy Gamer is a rename of Gamer from Game & Wario. It has the same gameplay from the original game where you play microgames without getting caught, while also trying not to fall asleep at the same time. A new game mode I have is Original Oddballs, where it uses 120 past microgames that do not relate to any Nintendo game or accessory. Another game mode idea is Waluigi's Challenge, where you play microgames in sets of 5 to defuse a time bomb, excluding bosses. You start with 50 seconds to complete 5 microgames, which adds 5 more seconds and microgames into the next set. It keeps going until the timer runs out. Also, if you fail a microgame, you lose 5 seconds. The last mode idea I have is Game & Wow, where it takes 12 minigames from Game & Wario. Some minigames were brought back with no changes. Some minigames were reworked to be played both in single and multiplayer, and also without the use of 2 screens, while some were created for characters who are not in said game like Waluigi, so they won't be left out. If Nintendo creates this WarioWare game, it might objectively be the best WarioWare game because it adds one character that should have been in the series since its debut: Waluigi. Got nothing else for this video. If you want retro content, like and subscribe, and I share more Nintendo content just like this. I'm the Shadow Picture, and I'll see you guys very soon. Later.